Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Bonkekook here, aka the Lonely Achievement God, and today I am coming at you with another video for Wilmot's Warehouse. Today I am going to be showing you how to use the pause glitch and delivery re-rolling methods to get to your 950 gamer score out of 1,000, assuming you are starting this game from scratch and want to get to the end as quickly as possible. A couple of notes there. You cannot get the Dungarees achievement using the pause glitch method. And no matter what you do, unless you start the game normally and eventually skip to the pause glitch, the good news for you is right below here I will be dropping a link for a speedrun of Wilmot's Warehouse where I get the Dungarees in about an hour using the pause glitch as to help out with that. What I end up doing is I play regularly for the first year and then pause glitch through the rest of the game. That saves a ton of time, and after about an hour you will have enough of the stars needed to purchase all of the upgrades to get the Dungarees achievement. I will drop the link below so that you can check that out. As I said, this method is specifically for those of you who are starting from a fresh account, or maybe you have a ton of groupings left to get and want to get through the game a little faster. I will be showing you the entire playthrough for this so you have an idea of what you need to do. If you only have the finches or bananas groupings, I will be dropping a link to a different video where I explain a quicker method to get those. This method, as I mentioned, is for those of you starting a new account or those of you who have multiple groupings remaining. If you are only trying to get the bananas or finches, check out the video here because this will show you the fastest way to get those. The bananas and finches don't show up till the second year, so you want to spam through the first year using the pause glitch and then try to get the bananas and finches, and I will detail that in this other video. For those of you who still have one or two more groupings left that aren't the bananas or finches, check out this video that I am linking to, as this any of the other 20 groupings that aren't the bananas or finches have a chance to show up at the beginning of the game, which means that all you have to do is keep restarting the game. I explain all of that in another video, but in short, the game starts you with 12 different items, and there is always a chance that one of those grouping items can show up. So you can just restart the game until, say, the magnet from the hardware grouping is in the first 12, and then you can either play the game normally or you can re-roll deliveries to try to get the rest of the hardware groupings, however you choose to do it. Because of the finches and bananas not showing up in the first year, it is best to just spam through the first year using the pause glitch, and I will show you that in another video as well. So this playthrough, as I said, is devoted to getting you that 950 gamer score from starting a new account. I will do my best to cover everything in this video, but if you have any other questions, the rest of my videos will cover any content you may be missing, or you can check out the website. So let's go on, and we will get started here. For the pause glitch playthroughs, always make sure you are using slot 1. It is a minor inconvenience to use slot 2 or 3, but it is a minor inconvenience you will be experiencing every single month of the game, which I think there are 71 of. So unless you want to scroll down 71 different times, I recommend using slot 1. I don't have any friends, so we will play single player. You can choose either normal or expert. I do recommend normal simply because of the time frames. Expert, if you do choose expert, make the sorting times normal, make the stock takes normal, the order slips don't matter. But I do recommend just starting on normal and then skipping the tutorial. So press start, skip the tutorial, unless you need to learn that stuff. If you do, I'm not going to be covering it here. I have plenty of other videos that can intro you to that. Again, this isn't designed to help you get through the game knowing how to play the game. I am just trying to show you how to get through the game as quickly as possible. As much as I love this game and wish everyone would enjoy it as much as I did, I also am here to bring you achievement content. So if you want to get through this game as quickly as possible, I will have guides for that. If you want to play the game normally, I have guides for that. So once we get into the game here, till 1, we are ready to go. The first thing you are going to do, as I have said, is I am demonstrating 2 different methods for you to get through this playthrough. The first one is what we will be doing this first quarter. Is we are going to ignore all of the deliveries and items until the stock take at the beginning of the second quarter in April. So we're going to be running through the glitches right off the bat here. Oh, and one more note. I apologize for not mentioning this sooner. The delivery re-rolling is going to be a random thing in this playthrough. So I will notate and let you know what part of the playthrough that shows up. If we get a banana or finch, I will be demonstrating how to reroll. If we do not get a banana or finch, I will demonstrate re-rolling at the beginning of the final part of this playthrough. Just so that, because if the bananas or finches show up, it is a much better lesson to be able to show you exactly what you're going to do with the object in question. But if we don't have the luck of getting a banana or a finch, I will just re-roll a couple of times so you know what you will be doing should a banana or a finch show up for you. The only other time I would ever recommend re-rolling is the very last month of the game. On the off chance you have 3 of a grouping and you want to complete that grouping before the end of the game, but we will cover that again when we get to that point. For now, till 1, we are ready to go and head up to the time clock. Go ahead and press the pause button to pause the game. This does 2 things. In the bottom right corner, it saves the game. And you may have heard the truck trying to deliver its items down at the bottom of the warehouse. Pressing start immediately ends that. It is normally like a 15 to 20 second animation that happens down there. For whatever reason, pausing the game drops all of the items from the delivery immediately. The truck goes away. And the most important part of that to us is you can't skip ahead in the delivery phase until that delivery is dropped off. So pausing right away means you can immediately skip the delivery phase. Tell 1 that you know you haven't touched the delivery and skip it, and we are off to the service phase. Now, I am going to go, again, a little in depth to the service phase for those of you that are not familiar with it. We would be sitting here, and there are 4 customers that show up in the window, each requesting different items. In a normal playthrough, you would be bringing the items in the warehouse to the customers, and as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, we have a time limit to do that. As you can see, also, to the left there, that customer that we can see has 5 stars below him. There is a 5-star customer and a 3-star customer in the window. And there are 2 customers that have no stars attached to them. If we were playing normally, you would be prioritizing the 5-star and the 3-star customer, but we are not. We are not delivering any items. We are immediately going to skip this phase. So there are also 3 stars you can get from finishing the service phase quickly. In normal mode, and that's why I picked it, I know exactly when the stars fall off. I am not entirely sure about this for expert mode if you chose to put 25% less time for your service phases. So that's why I recommend using normal, because I can tell you exactly when all the time stuff falls off. So as you can see, we would normally have 1 minute and 30 seconds. After a minute, at 30 seconds, the first of the 3 stars you get for finishing the phase in a timely manner falls off. So from that point, finishing the phase will only give you 2 stars. At 20 seconds, the next star falls off, and again, you would only get 1 star, and at 10 seconds, the last star falls off. You could still complete the phase, but you would not get any stars. We don't have to worry about that in this because we are instantly finishing the phase. And I call it a pause glitch because the game doesn't know how to handle it. we are pausing, reloading the game, and coming back in, and for some reason the game lets us skip the service phase. But we are given 3 stars because the game also thinks we completed the service phase without giving any items to the customers. So we get 3 stars every time we do this, which is nice because it'll allow us to purchase power-ups on our way through the game. As I said, we are doing this immediately in every phase, so you don't have to worry about spending too much time. You would have to sit here for a minute without finishing the phase to not get 3 stars. So you have plenty of time to do all of that. We are going to go ahead and I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do here. So tell them you're ready. Make sure you are in the dotted box. Thank you, Juan. Make sure you are in the dotted box outside of the time clock. And you are going to hit the start button to pause the game. In the bottom right hand corner, once again, make sure that game saved pops up. This is important because it will be where you are popping back in. So go ahead, hit exit to menu, and this is why we chose save slot 1, because the cursor defaults to save slot 1. So you do not have to scroll down to 2 or 3. Go ahead and hit A on the load game for slot 1. Once again, hit A for play single player, hit A to continue in normal mode, and hit A to tell the game you are ready, and hit A once more for good measure. Even though the time clock is not set up for interaction, it will skip ahead. Make sure you do not move off of the time clock box here. If you move left or right, you will have to once again get into the box, pause the game, etc. And hit A one more time. And that will force the game to skip the phase, give you your stars, and disappoint your boss. However, don't worry about this. You can still unlock all of the story achievements no matter how poorly you perform. So just apologize that you won't get that notification again, so don't worry about it. It's just a one-time thing. And we move on to the manifest. To start the game here, we are not sorting the deliveries, but do keep an eye on what items are coming in and if they are related to any groupings. I have a link to my website, which will have all of the grouping achievements and the cut-out items that belong in each grouping listed there. You can tell I did it because they are cut poorly. But I have all of them memorized, so you won't see me pausing to stop and check the list. Well, very often, if at all, but you may want to have that handy so when this manifest comes in, you can be like, oh, the windmill, that's for the wind grouping, or the needle and thread is for the haberdashery, etc. But for now, we're not going to focus on that. I am showing you, first off, the first method for going through the game, which is to ignore all the deliveries and do everything in a stock take phase. This is taking a little bit longer than it would for you, obviously, because I'm stopping to explain things. So head back to work. Once again, pause the game so that the delivery drops off. You may have to do this once or twice. I have had instances where the first pause does not drop off the delivery, so you may have to do it a second or third time, depending. If you do it right, once you get back out of the pause screen, the time clock will have the punch card. Now you need to move out of the time clock slot and back in, and that will allow you to skip the delivery phase again. And we will be doing the same thing. Tell them you're ready. Stay in the time clock box. Pause the game. Game saved popped up in the bottom right-hand corner. Exit to menu. Press A a bunch of times. And skip the phase. We will get another manifest. Once again, there is the sun. We will be making sure that any of the items that come in, if they are related to groupings, we are aware of. That is an acorn, not a decorative egg, as I initially assumed, are for the arboretum grouping, a butterfly for the insect grouping, and an oven mitt. I'm kidding, that's a winter glove, but we do not need that for anything. So once again, press start to drop the delivery off. Move out and back into the box. Hit A to skip it. Press start. Exit to menu. Spam the A button. And we have now reached the end of the first quarter. We will be brought to an upgrade screen. Upgrades are not super important in this playthrough. As I said, the only one tied to an achievement we will not be able to get. But we are going to purchase rotate, and that is one of the reasons I choose to start the game by without sorting any of the deliveries, just because sorting deliveries without being able to rotate is a pain in the butt. So go ahead and purchase the rotate upgrade. Beyond this point, you can basically purchase whatever you want. It's kind of up to you. I do recommend, I will pop in and explain my decisions, in further upgrade screens, just so you know what you are getting yourself into. And I would recommend later on focusing on removing the pillars, but again, we will cover all that when we get to it. We have made it to the stock take phase. Once again, you can press pause to get the delivery dropped off, although it's not as important right now. And we are going to sort all of our items now. It is much easier to do so now that we have the upgrade. So we have a wind, we have yarn for the haberdashery, and we have, I believe that's a sail, even though from this distance it almost looks like a pyramid. But it is part of the wind grouping. So we will put the sail down there, the yarn up there, and the windmill with the sail for the wind grouping. And now we're going to go through what we got down here. So we have these two items are both part of the haberdashery grouping. So we'll bring those up there. I believe we have another one buried in here too, which means right off the bat, we're going to get the haberdashery achievement, I think. A quick note about this. Okay, if you push the block in, the achievement does not unlock. You have to grab the item and place it. And there's the achievement. I do have like 6 of the achievements on this account, so there may be an occasional grouping that doesn't pop the achievement on screen. I apologize in advance. On the off chance that the achievement did not pop for you, move 2 of the items to make a little square. I have seen people say that sometimes 4 in a row doesn't work, and moving them into groups of 4 like this has popped achievements where the row did not. So obviously do whatever works out for you to get your achievements. There is a possibility, even with my groupings, that some items are right or wrong. I have tried to make notations on my list on my website when I am not sure about an item. So there are a couple that, if we get the opportunity, we will be testing the differences, the different items, to see if we can pop the achievement or not. The In the Sea grouping has a compass that people said has worked, and the what was the other one? The astronomy grouping has an item that the sun. People have said the sun works in that grouping, but I was never able to. So if it does come to the point where the astronomy grouping is one that we get items for, I may attempt to hold off on it until we get a sun item. So I'm just going to move items over here. And now this is what you do for these stock takes. You're going to go through each delivery and find the items that are necessary for groupings. So a lot of these are going to repeat early on because we don't have a lot of different items. But as we move through the game, we will get a bigger or a better variety in the groupings that we get. What else do we got? I am going to put the sun out just on the off chance that is part of the astronomy grouping. And stock take deliveries, as you can see down here, they are bulk deliveries of 2 to 5 items that you already have in your warehouse. The stock take deliveries will never have new items for you to worry about. Unless you happen to miss one, you know, in an earlier delivery. Say we didn't see the watch and then watches came in, you could grab the watch out of them. But you never have new items that are not in your warehouse come in on the stock takes. So we have the watch, which will be for the time grouping. We have the butterfly, which is part of the insect grouping. We have the acorn, which is part of the arboretum. And we have the sun, which I am not sure if that is part of the astronomy grouping or not, but we will put it up there. So that's how I sort my groupings. I usually try to get like 5 on each side up here. By the end of the game, the items will build up all the way up to here. You will have very little room to maneuver if you try to go through the entire game using this method. But also, by the end of the game, you shouldn't have nearly as many different groupings. So I try to put, like I said, about 5 on each side. And then I will show you how I sort everything. I know this video is going to be significantly longer, probably than any of the other ones, even the one of the ones that contains the re-rolling of deliveries method, if that were to happen. Just because there's so much information to tell you at the beginning, and nothing else really happens throughout the rest of the playthrough. So, I grab columns of 6, and then I move them over and line them up to start with the top row of whatever pillar is nearby. This does get, if you use this method, this does get a little more hard to do because of the way that the deliveries are showing up. The other method I use is to sort every delivery when it shows up, and I prefer that method for myself, but I'm showing you this one on the off chance you'd prefer to do it this way. There isn't, again, a lot of difference between the two, but I tend to sort things in the warehouse from the bottom up. I fill in these bottom areas and then work my way up the warehouse. So it's a little more difficult to do if you are waiting for the entire quarter of deliveries to come in before you start sorting. So, but again, you can do whatever method you choose. I'm just here to offer my opinion. As we move through the game, I will be talking less and less. Insert applause here, because there really isn't a lot to interject. In all likelihood, I will probably start being quiet during the sorting aspects, and then just popping in when there's like an upgrade screen or when the manifest has some new items, so that I can explain the groupings a little better as we move through. So yeah, that's kind of all there is to this playthrough. Getting the groupings, moving the deliveries off to the side so more deliveries can come in, and then if you choose to follow this method, you will be skipping the phases up until the next stock take, and then reorganizing everything during a stock take. I will be, as I said, I will be showing you the other method that I use for sorting, and you can decide if it's right for you. We'll start that with the next quarter here. And I will be using that method through the rest of my playthrough here. So, let's see, is there anything else to mention? Probably try to jam as much information into this first part as possible. Just throw these off to the side here. We are all caught up, so we will move on now. We will be heading to a service phase next, because this stock take takes the place of the delivery phase in the other from the other 2 months. So once you skip ahead here, you will get a service phase. We will use the pause glitch to skip ahead. And now I will be showing you how I do my method of sorting for the pause glitch playthrough. So that's a hardware item. That is a hardware item. That is useless, and that is actually part of 2 different groupings. So we have 3 items to grab. I use the delivery phase for everything. So press start to get the delivery down. We're going to grab these 2 items out and that item and bring them up. The stump is part of the arboretum down here and the time grouping. So for now, I'll just put them there. I don't know if we have any hardware items yet, so we'll put the hardware items up there. And I actually might see if I have another stump, just because I do. Okay. That way I don't have to accidentally forget about the other stump if I finish the one grouping. So, now that we've done that, we are going to start sorting the delivery. Again, I prefer to sort when the items are down at the bottom here. That's why I do it right away. And then I just let the groupings build up. So I guess to make it a little bit easier, I imagine this is kind of like a building that's on its side, and so we're in the first level down here. And so I fill up the first level with items, and then I let the deliveries build up until we're up to level 2. And then I start sorting the items over here and do the same thing until we're up to level 3, etc. That's probably the best way to explain it, even though obviously you're on a warehouse floor. But the perspective makes it easier to do that. So once you have sorted your grouping items and sorted the deliveries, head back up to skip the service phase, or the rest of the delivery phase, and then use the pause glitch to skip the service phase, and we will do the same exact thing. Check the delivery for items we need. That is a mantis for the insect group, that is for the haberdashery group, and that is for the hardware group. We are actually off to a pretty decent start. Oh, that is our first story achievement. Every 20 items starting at item 28, you will get a poster from your boss and subsequently unlock an achievement. As I mentioned before, I have some of the achievements on this account, and this is one of them, so it's not popping here, but it would be for you. You get posters at 28, 48, 68, 88, and 108. At item 128, your boss is out of town, so you get nothing, and then you return to the process at 148, 168, and 188, as well as getting an achievement for completing the game when you complete the game. So, as I said before, the posters are not related to how well we are doing. I did test this earlier and just let everything run out, not getting a single star, and I still got the first achievement. So you can completely fail the game and still get all of your achievements. I will say I'm pointing that out now on the off chance that I forget to mention a poster later on. It does happen. We end up skipping things very quickly, so thank your boss. Check out the wonderful poster. These posters hit way too close to home for someone who worked in retail. And we will head down to our delivery and get the items that we need. So we got the mantis. We got the paintbrush. And there was a third one, was there not? Yeah. Sewing machine. I apologize, I need to get better at this. So we'll head the paintbrush up to the hardware grouping. We will drop the praying mantis, or the mantis, I guess, with the insect grouping, and... Oh wait, we already got the haberdashery group, didn't we? So, we didn't need to get this. See, even I make mistakes, it happens. So now, once we do that, we come down and sort the delivery. However you so choose, you can follow what I do or do whatever you want. But it is very important that you fill up almost every block, especially if you don't get rid of the pillars. Otherwise, by the end of the game, you will run out of room for sure. I think this first part is going to be through the end of this year. I know that it means this video is going to be a little bit longer, but I want to do a year per video. So once you're sorted, head back up and do the same thing we have been doing. Work your way through. We get to another upgrade screen, but we have nothing that we can upgrade. So go ahead and return to work. Head down to sort the delivery. As before, this is how I sort. How you sort is entirely up to you. And once those are sorted, head back up to the time clock. And continue the process. There is a magnet for the hardware grouping, so that will finish off our hardware, the Mr. Bricolage achievement. So we will bring that down once again, drop the item. I think I already had this achievement. Let's just double check here. Yes, I did. So this achievement will not be popping, but I'm going to show off everything for you guys just so you have the information. And we will head down to our pile down here and continue sorting. I will show you, I will probably talk again through the rest of this episode, but in the following episodes, other than an intro and popping in with the upgrades or when groupings show up, I will be significantly more quiet. Keep in mind, once again, I am not perfect. There is the possibility I miss an item or a grouping or whatever. I apologize for that, but I'm not going to pretend that I do everything perfectly. So, but I will correct any mistakes or attempt to. I am learning how to do all of this stuff. Editing videos is new to me. Recording audio is new to me. All of this stuff, I'm hoping to get better at all of it for you. I'm going to be adding a logo and intros to my videos, but I'm working out some financial issues, so that's got to come a little bit later. But I am hoping to get better at all of this. I also am aware that I do that. Pause, say a lot. I have an aversion to public speaking, so we got a bee butt for the insect group. That is a hairdryer, I think, for the wind grouping. I have an aversion to public speaking, and this is, even though no one is currently paying any attention to me right now, there is a part of me that is very aware of the fact that I am talking in a way that many people, maybe even like 4 or 5, will eventually see. So I tend to be very articulate. I think before I speak. And that's not to insult anyone who's good at this. I've just always been a pretty slow talker. So we sorted our groupings there. Now that we have, we'll sort the rest of them. But So I pause, and I pause to think of what I'm saying, but then I feel like I'm supposed to be giving you, entertainment and talking every single second, and it starts to make me nervous, and then I'm like, I need to say something really quick. So I apologize for that. I'm hoping that as I do this more often, I will get better at eliminating those pauses and those horrible uhs and ums. But I also have noticed that I tend to do it in everyday speaking too, so it's not entirely because of my videos. It's just something I do, and I'm going to have to work on it. So I apologize for that and hope to have that eliminated as we work through the game. Once again, we skip forward. Once again want to reiterate that this playthrough, not the playthrough, sorry, this part of the playthrough will be significantly longer than the other ones are going to be. So we purchase Strong. That gets our carry limit up to 8. That unlocks the Speedy and the Stronger upgrades. I always pick Speedy. In this playthrough, you never have any reason to pick up more than 8 items. Honestly, you never have any reason to pick up more than 6, really. But, so I never purchased the Stronger upgrade. I always pick Speedy next. It gives you a dash move, which helps you get around faster and will make the playthrough a little bit shorter. So I always pick that one. After you pick one of those two, either the Speedy or the Stronger, all 6 of the pillar grouping or pillar removal upgrades pop in, and we will probably focus on those after that. Just for your information, purchasing all 6 of the pillar upgrades unlocks the dungarees, but we will probably be about 90 stars short of being able to purchase that by the end of the game. Okay, so back to work. We are in the stock take. Once again, we will have no new items, so we just sort. If my play is a little choppy, I'm sorry. I'm playing through the preview screen of my recording device, and I only have one TV to do this, so to fill in up there. Then we're almost done. But I only have one TV currently set up to be able to not only run the PC on to record, but also view the Xbox. So I sometimes forget to switch to the other input. So once again, just pause glitch your way through. So if you are using this specifically just to get the story achievements, if you tried using the pause glitch, there's a ladder for the hardware and a washer for the hardware, so we don't need those. So we have nothing to sort other than the delivery itself. If you are trying to just get the story achievements using this method, you can get through the game using the pause glitch in about 18 minutes. Because all you're going to be doing is sitting up at the time clock, skipping every phase repeatedly. So you, in theory, could get all of the story achievements in 20 minutes if you wanted to do that. And then the sorting obviously would take you a little bit longer for getting all the other achievements if you're not paying attention to anything else. But in essence, that is kind of what you're doing when you are using this method for the finches or bananas, and I again will be making a separate video explaining that, but you're literally just sitting here spamming through until a finch or a banana shows up, and then you can do what you need to try to get the rest of them. But I'll be covering that in another video. Oops, ran away. Sorry about that. The scissors are part of the haberdashery, and I believe the hardware grouping, but we have both of those done. So there is, once again, no items related to any groupings, so we'll just sort. So what I do down here, now that we're getting into the center, is I leave one row on either side of the delivery. So I have this row here so I can go up and down and look through the deliveries. And I do the same thing on the other side. Come on. That was weird. Head back up. And I will finish this stock take, and this will be the end of part 1 of our pause glitch playthrough here. Once again, we don't have enough stars for an upgrade, so continue on, press start to drop the delivery, and head down and sort it. So, ladies and gents, I do appreciate you guys checking out my videos and my content. We will be continuing our playthrough in part 2 here. I will be showing you, well, to be fair, a lot of it is going to be repetition, as I have said, but I will be following this through to the end of the game, just so if you want to, you can follow along with me and see what I do at different stages using the pause glitch. Also, as I mentioned, I will be notating when we show off the delivery re-rolling. I know I apologize that it's listed as a primary component of the playthrough, but I didn't exactly know when it would happen. Obviously, finches or bananas could show up at any point from this point on. So, I will make a notation of what part that is in so that you know where you want to go or need to go if you want to just experience the re-rolling in tandem with the pause glitch playthrough. But I hope this information is useful for you. We will continue our playthrough in part 2, and I will see you there.